So hello again. Here we go again. How quickly the week seems to come around, and here we are telling you more old stories. So no three guesses what this week's about. This one. So you may or you may not know that back in, I think this was 91. I'm always saying I think it is. It's because I can't remember anything. Back in 91, I think it was around March 91, something like that. We were booked to play with Motorhead. And as if you hadn't worked it out already, we've never been overly shy about this fact. The one band that probably this band is unified on and all agree in terms of bands that they like, is Motorhead. We love Motorhead, always love Motorhead. Seen them a gazillion times, and we are Motorhead fanboys. So we were booked to play with Bonce, and not only we were booked to play with the Bonce, but we were booked at Hammersmith to play with the Bonce. So it doesn't get much better than that, does it? So it's going to be Lawnmower opening up and a band in between. And this is boyhood dream shit, isn't it? As far as we're concerned. So that's the headline. We were booked to play with them. Now, interestingly, it never happened. And there is a reason, or we're pretty sure there's a reason as to why it didn't happen, but there's a story that goes with it. Otherwise, I won't be sat here, would I? So what happened? Well, as tends to happen with metal, it has its peaks, it has its troughs, and sometimes you're up and sometimes it's down. And, you know, that's how it works, isn't it? 1 minute a band can play really big venues, next minute they're playing in your local pub, and then they're back in arenas again. And so we were booked, and I'm going to keep their name out of it just to protect the innocent. So we were booked onto a show in the Midlands for a band that weren't at their height at the time, but were again a massive band, still are a massive band. And we were stuck on the bill because we were localish. And they wanted us to help sell tickets. How hilarious is that? Let's put Lawnmower on to try and sell some tickets. So that's what happened. So we got booked on this gig, and we were well chuffed to be on this gig as well, because we were fans of this band. So comes the day of this gig, and you have to remember we're young, we're idiots, and you know, we ruffled a few feathers every now and then. So it's the day of the gig, and we are given, I promise you, a proper talking to before the set. Obviously, we've got a bit of a reputation, but we're given a proper talking to about what you can and what you can't do. Now, some would say that's sensible to talk to bands like us like that, and others would say that's a bit of a red rag to a bull, innit? Guess which? So the gig arrives, and we haven't listened to a word we've been told, to be perfectly honest. We're just going to go all out, and so on. And as was the one particularly of Motorhead, they like to lower things from the ceiling in the middle of their set. Motorhead famously had the bomber, didn't they? And here's an interesting stat. I think I saw Motorhead 15 times and never saw the bomber. Bad for me. So anyway, we decided we'd have a bit of this action as well, and we would lower stuff from the ceiling as well, whether it was going to upset anybody or not. So obviously, we had a song about a duck. Guess what we're going to lower from the ceiling? So we found ourselves a stuffed duck. We've got gaffer tape torches, full production this. And at the moment of glory, we decide we are going to backlight, and then we're going to lower down this stuffed duck with a little message on it. Didn't get very far down. Power went off, lights went off. So that was the end of our set that night. So hilarious. But anyway, why do I tell this story? Well, that same band were on the bill with Motorhead, and not surprisingly, we were booked to play with Motorhead. And after that show, we were no longer booked to be playing with Motorhead. So it was a great disappointment. I've got to be honest. We would love, one, to have played Hammersmith, and two, to have played Hammersmith with Motorhead. Of course we would. I even met Wurzel a few years later, and I told him in the story, he thought it was hilarious because they didn't know anything about it. But there you go. We were that close, folks, to playing probably as iconic as it gets, Hammersmith and Motorhead. So there you go. We nearly got there and epically failed in Lawnmower fashion, but there we go. So hope you're all good apart from that. Usual bios are going in, or the usual info into the bios is going in. So please get your pre-orders in. It's Christmas. What a fine time to pre-order yourself an album for your loved ones. I'm sure your grandma is looking forward to getting a copy of Blunt Cutters. And the link's going in for London as well for tickets. There's still tickets available. We'd love to see you there. We know it's not going to be easy getting in and out of London on transport and COVID and all of that kind of stuff. But you know what? Let's go. Let's be safe and let's have a jolly good time. All right, folks, take care of yourselves. We'll be back next week, I am sure, with another story.